Hello guys, we continue our journey creating Laravel checklister. This is video number 5 from what I remember. For those of you who have missed the first videos, the link to the playlist in the description below. And from this video of checklister series, I decided to do something differently. I decided to give something more for the people who subscribe to my yearly membership of my courses. So I think that I give 2 little extra values for those people who want to invest the money in the things that I do. So from now, checklister series will continue, but it will also continue on Teachable as a course, where I will publish some extra lessons which won't be on YouTube, and also lessons will be published earlier, a few days earlier at least, than on YouTube. So if you want to participate in that one, so for example, in today's video, we will create managing of the tasks, and for Teachable subscribers, there will be an extra lesson on how to make the tasks sortable with Laravel Livewire. So something like this. You can drag and drop tasks. In this video on YouTube, it won't be available, the lesson, but it will be available in the Teachable course. So if you want to get extra details or additional lessons on the checklister, go to laraveldaily.teachable.com. There's yearly membership, subscribe to that, and you will get more content and earlier. Now let's go to today's lesson. And today we are tackling managing the tasks. So far we have checklist groups, for example, launch new feature, and then checklists. So checklists to push code to GitHub, test the feature or something like that. And then inside of each checklist, we need to have tasks. And the client described it in this screenshot. So when you click the checklist, you should have the list of tasks. You can add a task, edit and delete any task. So let's build that. First, we need to create the database model and migration for the tasks. So task will belong to checklist, and each task has a name and a description. That's it. So let's do exactly that. PHP artisan, make model task -m for the migration, and then we go task fillable fields. Actually, let's add soft deletes immediately, and then fillable checklist ID, title, description, or task name probably, not the title. And then in the migration for the task, we need to add soft deletes, so I wouldn't forget soft deletes. And then table foreign ID for checklist ID constraint. And then table string for name, and table text for description. It's a longer text, description. Like this. Let's run the migrations. Migrate. It worked. So we have the structure now. Next, where we will build that list or the table. Probably the most logical place is inside of the checklist. So you click the checklist, you can edit that, and then down below we will have the list of the tasks. So in the same checklist edit blade, I have opened edit blade for the checklists down below. Outside of the card probably, let's add a line, then text of list of tasks. Let's see where it lands. List of tasks, great. And here we will have a table. And we will build the table later. First, let's build a form of adding a new task. So to do that, we just copy and paste here, actually, this one. So if there's any, with the form down below, but the route will be different. So admin, checklists, tasks, store. We will have another nested set, nested controllers, task store with checklist as a parameter, method post, method put we don't need because it's a store method. We don't need the header. We just need the form group like this with the button. Actually, maybe we do need the card. Let's actually see what we have here. Task store not defined, of course, because we don't have the controller yet. Let's generate that actually. Route resource. No, first we need to generate the controller. So PHP artisan, make controller, admin task controller, -- resource. Good. And then we can duplicate that line into checklists, tasks, like this, and then have task controller in here. Good. And then our page should not throw errors anymore. And we have that form, but yeah, we do need the card for that. It would be much prettier. So in the edit, let's roll back for a bit. So let's create another card inside. So div class card. And then inside of that, card header, card body, and like this. Auto format with PHP Storm. It won't be edit checklist, it will be new task. And then form group for name of the task. Value is irrelevant. Placeholder task name. And let's see how it looks now. Okay, looks better. List of tasks will be later, and then new task name, and we need another field of text area with the description, right? So we do exactly that. Copy and paste the form group and label for description. And instead of input, there will be text area with the same class, name, description, without any placeholder. So we don't need placeholder and we don't need the type. What we need probably is amount of rows, which should be 5, for example. And let's see how it looks. Okay, it looks okay. So we can add the task name and the description. And I think we don't even need the placeholder here because we have a label. So task name is irrelevant for placeholder. And let's add another word, save task, and then save checklist in here. Save checklist. Like this, so it would be different names, different labels for the buttons, so they wouldn't be confusing. Okay, and for the store method of that controller, we have new task controller. For the store method, we will make, as usual, a form request for validation. PHP artisan make request, store task request. Okay, and then we use store task request. We go inside, we go authorize true, rules, name required, and description, not sure. Let's make it required as well. And then in the store, we have another parameter of checklist with route model binding and with nested controllers, nested resource controllers, as I told you. And let's update the php.comment comment like this. And what do we do inside? We do checklist, tasks, create, and then inside of that request validated. We don't have checklist tasks yet. Let's create that. Checklist, public function tasks, return this has many task class. And then we redirect where? Redirect probably to the same checklist route. So admin, checklist groups, checklists, edit, and we have two parameters, checklist group and checklist. So checklist group ID and then checklist. I think that should work. I think we can try it out. So if in the form we fill something like with AAABBB, save the task, and we have no error. We are redirected back without success message yet, but in the database we refresh and we do have the task with checklist ID 2, all successful. Great. Now let's take care of the validation. So for example, if I don't fill anything, I have validation errors, but here we have a problem. We have two validation errors for one form or another form. So if you have multiple forms on the page and you have validations for both of them, the solution is called named error bags. So page may come, the validation may come with error bag, and you can make the name for it and then check for the name like this. So error bag may be provided in the form request class. In this store task request, you can define error bag as, for example, store task or store task like this. And then you can reference store task like this. Store task for each errors, store task all like this. Let's try it out. So refresh the page again, no validation yet. We save the task and only here we have the validation errors. But also we forgot one thing in this form and also in the previous form. So keep in mind, check the official GitHub repository because I'm constantly changing and fixing small things that are outside of these videos. So for example, if I do it like this, the old value disappears. So we do need to provide the value in the edit blade form. In here, value should be old name like this, and old description here, but in text areas it's not a value, it's between text areas, so old description like this. So let's try it out. Let's enter the name, but description isn't there. So we have the name still present. And I need to fix the same thing in the create blade of checklists and checklist groups. So we go back to checklist groups create, and for input, value should be old name like this. And same for the checklists, create blade, value old name like this. Great. So now we're already saving our data. So we have the task. Now let's build the table. For that, I have opened the core UI theme example of tables, and I will just copy simple table like this. So card of the table. Let's copy that one, and then we will remove what we don't actually need. So copy element. In the same edit blade, we paste it before the form or before the card of new task. Let's paste it, and for now let's see how it looks. Refresh. Okay, we have the table of list of tasks, and then underneath new task. Or we don't actually need the header of that card, so let's remove the header because we have already this h2, or in fact maybe the header is even better than list of tasks here. Actually, we need to remove the validation message, move that to the form itself, so like this, and then the table. So we stay with the header, and instead of simple table we do list of tasks, and then for each of the tasks we have the table data. We don't need the header for this table because it's kind of self-explanatory what will be inside. And then in tbody we will do for each of tasks as task. We will pass the tasks soon and for each, and then inside we'll have just task name. Description is too long to be shown in the table, so we won't show it. And then for td we will have edit and delete. We will implement them later, edit and delete, and that's it for the table. We delete all the other stuff of the table. We don't need the pagination in this case, so we don't need that UL. And of course we will get the error that the tasks are not loaded, and we do load them where? In the checklist controller. Checklist controller. In the edit method we need to have checklist with tasks. So let's load them from the controller. Checklist load tasks. For the eager loading, or actually I'm not sure, in this case it should probably query the tasks anyway in the blade, so we don't need to do that from the controller in this case. In the edit, instead of just tasks, we would do checklist tasks like this. Checklist tasks. Let's see if it appears, the task. Edit, and it appears our task of AAA. And if we add another one, we save the task and it appears in the table. Great. Now we need to take care of edit and delete buttons, and first let's tackle the delete thing because it will be quicker. We will just copy and paste here the delete form from the checklist above. So we'll have a form just with a different action. So admin checklists tasks destroy checklist and task like this, and then instead of delete this checklist it will be just delete like this. Let's see how it looks. Refresh. We have the delete button, and if we click that and cancel, nothing happens. So confirmation works. And if we go back to our task controller, destroy method for checklist and then task, we delete the task with soft deletes again, task delete, and return redirect route of, again, the same route. So we just copy that from the store method, to here. And let's update the PHP storm PHP doc comment. Should be okay. Let's try it out. Let's delete this. Okay. And we're redirected back and the task disappeared. Great. And then editing of the task, let's add an edit button which would link to the edit form. So in here we have text of edit, and link will be route of the same thing, almost the same thing as destroy, except for it's not destroy, it's edit. Edit checklist and the task. Edit, great. Let's add a style of class button, button small, button primary, for example, and the link here, and let's see how it looks. Oh, it looks bad because of course it's not class. I just added that in wrong syntax. Refresh again. Great. And now we need to make that on one line, and for that I always use inline styling. It's quite a bad practice to use inline styling, but stuff like this doesn't really need to force us to go to some external CSS or something. It's just display inline block for the form, and that's it. Sometimes I go to violate the principles, the best practice, just to make the result quicker. Okay, and now we need to take care of that edit form, which will be in the task controller. Here in the edit, we need to pass checklist again and task, and then return view, admin, tasks, edit blade, I think, compact task. Let's update the PHP doc automatically, and let's build that tasks edit, which will be actually edit blade, the same edit blade as checklist. So we will do file save as for that one, change the folder to tasks, edit blade, cancel. And what we need is only the upper part of the form. We don't need any other forms or other cards. So we delete everything that is unneeded. And for the tasks edit, we will have checklists tasks update. The parameters will be checklist and task, or in fact we don't have checklist, so task checklist ID, I think it is enough. Or let's stick to our logic that we have. Let's pass the checklist from here as well. Checklist like this, and then we can use that with route model binding. Edit checklist, edit task. The name is the same except for task name. We don't need the placeholder. Actually, have I left the placeholder in there as well? So in checklist edit, yeah, I did leave placeholder, so we need to delete that as well. Save checklist, save task. Okay, and how does our form look now? So we click edit, and we have AAA with task of checklist ID 2. Both parameters are here. Great. Now update. Or actually, before update, we have another field of description, of course, obviously. So we again copy that into label for description is description. And by the way, did I change the label there? I think I didn't. Label for the task here down below is label for name, and of course label for name, obviously, label for description. Okay, so label for description, and then we have text area with class form control, name description, rows 5, and value of task description. Like this. We don't need this. And let's refresh and see if we have that value. Great, it is here. Now update. For the update, we will reuse the same form request, obviously. Store task request, and then we have both checklist and task present again for nested route bindings. Task, and then we do task update request validated, and return redirect back again. Destroy copy to update, return. Let's autocomplete the PHP doc and should be okay. Let's try to add ... here and ... here, save the task, and we have no errors. We have ... saved, and if we click edit, ... for the description is also saved. Let's actually try to fire the validation. What if we don't save the task? Oh, validation is not here. We forgot that. Oh, we haven't forgot that because the error bag is different. Errors, store task. I think it is store task. The name of the error bag. Let's try that again. Save task. Great. So now we can manage the tasks in the checklist. Great.